Your budget is bleeding money right now. Not through Netflix subscriptions, not through coffee, through invisible drains that evaporate $380 every single month while you track every expense like a hawk. You do everything right, cut spending, meal prep, follow the budget app religiously, and somehow the emergency fund never grows past $1,200. $1 car repair destroys everything. The 3 a.m. panic about money still hits exactly the same. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Your financial plan isn't failing because you lack discipline. It's failing because it was designed for a family that doesn't exist anymore. An economy that vanished in 2008. A world where one income bought houses and pensions existed. There are 5 invisible layers between basic budgeting and real financial protection. 99% of middle-class families never reach layer 3, and each month you stay stuck at layer 1, you're not building security, you're managing a slow bleed. Let me paint you a picture you'll recognize instantly. It's 11:23 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're lying in bed doing mental math. Mortgage due in 6 days. Insurance auto draft hits Friday. Kids need new shoes, but can you swing it this month? Your chest tightens. Hands reach for the phone. Open the banking app, check the balance, close it. Open it again 3 minutes later. You earn $82,000 annually. You're not broke, you're middle class, and you're drowning. Here's what 65% of families earning $75,000 to $120,000 can't do. Cover 6 weeks of expenses if income drops temporarily. Not 6 months. 6 weeks. Your carefully constructed budget collapses the moment life stops cooperating with your spreadsheet. Now here's what most people miss, which means in financial terms, your budget isn't actually protecting you from anything except overdraft fees. You're managing cash flow. Bills get paid on time. The credit score looks respectable, but you're not building immunity. You're plugging holes while new ones open behind you. Think about your immune system for a second. It doesn't just react to threats, it builds defenses in layers. Skin blocks pathogens, antibodies neutralize viruses, white blood cells hunt infections, multiple levels of protection working simultaneously. Your financial system should work exactly the same way. But instead, most families have one layer, cash flow control, that's it. When a $2,000 medical bill hits, there's no deeper defense. The whole system crashes because you never built the layers underneath. The standard financial advice you've been following, track expenses, cut coffee, save 10%, that was written for an economy where housing cost 25% of income, not 45%. Where healthcare didn't bankrupt families. Where one job came with a pension and actual security. Those rules don't work anymore. And every month you follow them thinking you're doing something wrong. That's a month where your money bleeds out through invisible drains while everyone tells you to budget harder. Financial security isn't one achievement. It's 5 progressively deeper layers of protection. Each layer defends against different threats. And the gap between where you are and where you need to be, that's what's causing the 3 a.m. panic. Layer 1, cash flow control. This is where 80% of middle-class families live permanently. Income covers expenses, bills get paid, maybe $200 survives until next payday. This layer protects you from overdrafts and late fees, nothing else. One unexpected expense, $380 car repair, $550 urgent dental work, and the system collapses. You're not building security here, you're treading water. Layer 2, buffer zones. This is your emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of expenses. Only 35% of middle-class families ever reach this layer. Here's what it actually defends against: temporary income loss, medical emergencies, major home repairs. When you have layer 2 built, that $2,000 transmission failure doesn't trigger a financial crisis. It triggers a withdrawal. Big difference. But even families at layer 2 face a hidden vulnerability nobody talks about. Layer 3, income redundancy. Now we're entering territory your financial advisor probably never explained. This layer means you have multiple income streams that don't depend on your body showing up to one building 40 hours weekly. Side income, freelance work, investments generating actual cash flow you can spend. When one source fails, and it will, others sustain you. Less than 15% of middle-class households build this protection. And without it, you're one layoff away from burning through layer 2 in 90 days. Layer 4, asset allocation. Your money works independently of your labor. Retirement accounts grow, assets appreciate, net worth increases while you sleep. This layer protects against job loss you can't recover from, health issues preventing work, economic downturns obliterating industries. Only 8% of families earning under $150,000 annually ever reach this depth. Because to get here, you need layers 1, 2, and 3 already functioning. You can't skip steps. The foundation has to exist. Layer 5, generational wealth transfer. The deepest layer, your financial system outlives you. Estate plans protect family, trusts fund education for grandchildren. Life insurance replaces decades of income instantly. This layer defends against mortality itself. At this depth, your family's security doesn't depend on you surviving. It's engineered to function whether you're here or not. Here's the brutal truth that makes this all make sense. Standard financial plans were designed to keep you cycling endlessly around layer 1 while telling you you're building toward retirement. Track expenses, cut spending, save 10% if you can. Meanwhile, the emergency fund never grows past $3,000 and one medical crisis destroys 18 months of progress. The advice isn't wrong for everyone. It's wrong for the economy we actually live in. And every month you spend following those rules, your money evaporates through drains the plan never accounted for because it was written in 1987. So how do you actually build these layers instead of staying stuck at level 1 managing crises? Step 1. Identify your actual layer with brutal honesty. Stop lying to yourself about where you stand. If one $1,500 emergency would obliterate your peace of mind for 3 weeks, you're at layer 1 regardless of what your savings account says. This isn't about shame. It's about accurate diagnosis. You can't fix what you won't acknowledge. Step 2. Build downward systematically, one layer at a time. You cannot skip steps. Attempting layer 4 strategies while stuck at layer 1 creates dangerous instability. Here's the exact sequence your financial immune system needs. Master cash flow first. Track every dollar but not to shame yourself. To know exactly where money evaporates monthly. Then build layer 2. Emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of actual expenses. This takes 12 to 24 months for most families. That timeline, nobody mentions it because it sounds discouraging, but shortcuts don't exist here. You're building antibodies, that takes time. Only after layer 2 exists should you explore layer 3. Side income, freelance work, skills that generate money independent of your primary job. This layer protects you when the company announces layoffs or your industry contracts. Step 3. Defense before optimization. The biggest mistake middle-class families make: chasing investment returns before establishing protection. They contribute to retirement accounts they can't access while having zero emergency buffer. One crisis forces early withdrawal with penalties and taxes. You lose twice. Your financial immune system needs defenses before it needs growth strategies. Stop optimizing layer 4 when layer 2 doesn't exist yet. Build protection at each layer systematically before advancing to the next. Each layer should feel secure, not perfect, secure, before you invest energy into the layer below it. If your emergency fund covers 2 months but feels shaky, strengthen layer 2 before exploring layer 3. Let me tell you about Megan, 38, elementary school teacher from Ohio. Married 11 years with 3 kids aged 9, 6, and 4. Megan's family earned $87,000 annually combined income. They followed every standard rule, budgeted meticulously, cut cable, shopped sales exclusively, contributed $280 monthly to 401k accounts because that's what responsible adults do for retirement. But every night around 11:54 p.m., Megan would lie awake calculating. Could they afford summer camp for all 3 kids? What if the furnace died this winter? Her throat would close thinking about the mortgage payment clearing in 4 days. Checking the bank app 41 times daily became normal. The number never changed, but she looked anyway. The breaking point happened on a Thursday afternoon in March. Their son fractured his wrist at school. Emergency room bill after insurance, $680. Megan transferred money from savings to checking, watching the emergency fund drop to $940. That's when the panic became physical. Stomach dropping, chest tightening. Dizzy while scrolling through account balances looking for money that didn't exist. Her husband asked that evening, "Why does this keep happening? We do everything right." Megan had no answer. They weren't overspending, no luxury purchases, no financial recklessness. They were trapped at layer 1, recycling the same $5,200 through accounts every month while pretending it was security. Here's what changed everything. Megan stopped following generic financial plans and started building layers intentionally. First controversial decision, temporarily reduced 401k contributions to $140 monthly. That freed up $280 that built Layer 2 buffer to $9,800 over 8 months. Once that shield existed, Megan started tutoring online 3 evenings weekly. Extra $520 monthly created Layer 3 income redundancy. The mental shift happened around month 11. Unexpected dental work needed? No panic. Furnace died in January. Layer 2 absorbed the $1,400 shock while Layer 3 rebuilt it over 3 months. 20 months after starting, Megan's family had transitioned from Layer 1 survival mode to Layer 3 stability. The budget app still tracked spending, but now it tracked surplus being allocated strategically, not scarcity being managed desperately. The 3 a.m. panic stopped, not because income doubled, because the immune system finally had multiple layers of defense working simultaneously. Stop right now and ask yourself one question: which layer am I actually on? Not which layer your budget app says you've achieved, not which layer you wish you were on, which layer would hold if everything went wrong tomorrow morning. If that question creates anxiety tightening in your chest, you already know the answer. And that's okay. Most middle-class families earning $60,000 to $150,000 are exactly where you are, following advice designed for a different economy, wondering why security stays perpetually out of reach. Here's the financial principle that changes everything. Depth beats speed every single time. Building one layer completely protects you infinitely more than attempting 3 layers poorly. Stop trying to optimize investments you can't afford to lose access to. Stop contributing to retirement accounts you'll raid during the next crisis. Stop following generic financial plans that ignore the actual economy your family lives in. Your financial system should work like your immune system, recognizing threats at different depths and responding with layered defenses built specifically for the environment you actually face. The real strategy for middle-class protection: build immunity from the inside out. Cash flow control, then buffer zones, then income redundancy, then asset allocation, then generational transfer. Each layer takes 12 to 24 months. Each layer seems boring compared to investment advice promising 12% annual returns. But boring compounds into unshakable, flashy compounds into fragile. You don't need permission to stop bleeding money through invisible drains. You need different instructions, the ones you just learned. The layers nobody explained because they're too busy selling you mutual funds you can't access for 30 years while your emergency fund sits at $1,200. Drop the word layers in the comments if you just realized which level you're actually stuck on right now. I read every single one because understanding where you are is the first step to building deeper. If this changed how you think about financial security, not just budget categories, but actual protection systems built for the economy we live in today, hit that like button. It tells me to keep creating this kind of depth instead of recycling the same surface advice everyone else repeats endlessly. There's a follow-up video on screen now explaining exactly how to transition from Layer 2 to Layer 3. That's the step most families struggle with longest because nobody teaches income redundancy strategies that actually work for middle-class schedules. Watch that next. Subscribe for weekly financial education focused on building protection systems that work for families earning $60,000 to $150,000 annually. This channel doesn't promise you'll get rich. It promises you'll finally stop bleeding money you can't see leaving.